Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I am Brad here with Doug.
Hi.
Lawbreakers comes out this week finally. So there was an open beta for PS4 and PC this past week. You actually played a beta several months
Yeah.
ago, I think. And so
Yeah.
this is one of those games that's kind of been a long time coming and finally gets its full release this week, which is I think kind of an interesting time to talk about this and what it's doing and what it's bringing because I think this is a very unique game. But at the same time, I feel like this is a game that's
Hmm.
borrowing a lot from a lot of
Yeah.
things.
It's like unique.
It's
Hmm.
unique. It's unique in the sense of it took a lot from this and a lot from this and mushed them together.
Yeah, and they wouldn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
To me, I'm looking at this, and when I sat down and played Lawbreakers this weekend, I really didn't know what I was getting into. I knew it was kind of like a weird, like Overwatch type thing with characters, which I haven't
Yeah.
played a lot of Overwatch. It just didn't, I don't know, didn't feel right the free weekend or whatever that they had. So I just kind of been
Mhm.
pushing it off to the side. But I knew it had that kind of aspect. I knew it kind of also had some of that Tribes feel from back in the day, which I was a big fan of Tribes way back when.
Oh, I see. I felt that entirely. I don't think I can tell you the difference between Tribes and Unreal Tournament though. Like I felt very. It's Unreal Tournament
It's
just
it's
through and through.
but Unreal Tournament and Tribes are kind of the same thing, except Tribes you had the jetpacks.
Oh, because you're just saying like the flight. You do a lot of flying around
Yeah.
in this game. That is
And I
true.
think it's
Yeah.
this weird melding of this new Overwatch type of shooter that Overwatch kind
Yeah.
of, I don't necessarily think they necessarily invented, but has really spearheaded this character based class system thing. And then your old school Unreal Tournaments, your tribes, even getting into like
Hmm.
Quake and that kind of thing with this more arena
Yeah.
shooter. And I think it's this really cool blend that really got me hooked pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think I think definitely from like gameplay perspective, it is kind of interesting because I played on PC and I did get that immediate feeling of like an Unreal Tournament or a Quake, but I felt like there was sort of like this unnecessary layer of complexity to it because of that sort of class-based systems. Well, it's class is not the I guess class isn't the right word, but like that hero-based because there is no such thing as a heavy and light. There's like kind of mishmash
Yeah.
of everything. I think my problem with it is because in Overwatch is a slower game, and I don't mean that's a bad thing, but I feel like slower games, even Team Fortress 2, you could put in quote unquote slower game, is that I feel like you really have to your powers, like when a power comes out, it means a lot more. But in this one, like when you drop a shield, like it just kind of temporarily blocks out the space because everybody can fly around and stuff. It doesn't really matter as much. I felt like the individual powers, like it felt like when they came out, it didn't feel like an event. It felt like they didn't matter as much. So like because they didn't matter as much, like why do these characters even have powers? You know what I mean? Like why not just make Unreal Tournament, just make or something like that. So I felt like the characters' powers like they didn't feel radically different because everybody moves so fast except for one or two guys that move slow.
Yeah. And
Um,
I think that does kind of slowly become the defining characteristic. I feel like after you play this a little bit. Now there's a couple other
yeah,
differences when it comes to the melee based characters, the weapon based or the gun based characters. But I did kind of get that feeling towards after putting in couple hours of okay, you've really got your slow heavy characters and your light fast characters and they're more or less interchangeable to a
yeah,
point. There is some very clear different things that you can do with different ones, but um you brought up the point of I wish they would have just made Unreal Tournament.
yeah,
I agree. And here's my thought with that. That is what I love about this game is everything in this that reminds me of Unreal Tournament, I absolutely love. And I
yeah,
want more of that. But I feel like it's one of those things where they wanted to make that type of game and at this point that's not going to sell. I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
at this point in video game history you can make Unreal Tournament 2017 like you did in 2004. You can't
No,
make that game.
I
It's
played
not going
that
to.
beta as well. It's not that
Wait,
great.
Unreal Tournament 2004?
No, 2017 or whatever the newest one
Oh,
is.
okay. I haven't played that beta.
Yeah,
But anyway, but again, I feel like that's just not going to sell. But if you can get people hooked on these characters and you get them saying like, "Oh yeah, I think
yeah,
Cliffy B might have even said like, what's a big deal being second to Overwatch?" Like, and I think that's kind of the thought of this is that's the huge thing right now. So let's make this Unreal Tournament. Let's take this old school idea and put it in these new concepts that are coming out now. And
yeah,
I think that's where you're going to get a divide with this. And I think this might
yeah.
be one of those games that's trying too hard to cater to everybody.
Yeah, because because I agree. Like because you do need to sort of like you're saying, you do need to sort of package this Overwatch stuff. So it does feel like that kind of like I was saying, those powers don't feel as meaningful because it does feel like it has that Unreal Tournament base. But on top of that, like the characters just aren't as immediately likable or anything compared to Overwatch. Like whatever you say about Overwatch gameplay wise, like those characters are really pretty damn cool. Like they all have like an immediate personality. They all have an immediate this, and this one like I don't know. I was thinking like because a lot of them remind me of like Quake 3 Arena characters. The
Yeah.
Quake 3 Arena characters were pretty cool, but they weren't talking too much.
Yeah.
but
You were just different like skins essentially on the same thing.
Yeah, and they're kind and like they sort of like vague personalities, but this one's like we're gonna give those characters like personalities, and turns out most of them are jackasses. And that's just what I felt. It just felt like I felt like a lot of them just like they just weren't the designs weren't immediately likable. The like because they try to make this kind of like weird techno horror stuff like likable. You know what I mean? Like just make your techno horror guys like techno horror guys and just leave it at that. Don't try to make them like cool techno horror guys. So it was like weird, like this guy who has like I can't remember. There's like one character I played as. He has sort of like a swooped over haircut, and he looks like a sort of this cool cyborg thing, but he's just kind of a dick. And that's just like his personality type is like he's just kind of a dick, and it's like, well, why can't he just be cool? Like, why can't you just have a game full of cool techno cyborg games? Like, why do you have to make them have like these kind of weird and wacky personalities? Because it just does not fit those character designs. So it just felt like it did feel like why don't you just take these characters and put them in Unreal Tournament? Like they just feel like Unreal Tournament characters with this weird try to like because they're clearly trying to differentiate themselves from Overwatch. So they don't have Overwatch personalities, but they do have these weird undefinable personalities that just like weren't like the one grenade guy like with like the gimp mask. I was like, why? I don't
it is one of those things, but again, I think this is one of those things where this is what I'm saying, you're trying to meet in the middle. I think people like me and you who are kind of more thinking back to Quake, thinking back to Unreal Tournament, we just want that. Like, just give me an arena, let it move fast, give me some cool guns, and let's go have some fun. And then I feel like you've got this newer generation that's coming into a lot of, I mean, even Call of Duty's been class-based for years and years now, who's coming into this more like, no, I need to set up my character beforehand, and I want him to look this way, and I want to have some customization to my characters, and I want to have some definition to my characters, where I will tell you this, I could not, in the middle of a match right now when I started, I could not tell you the name of a single character in that game. I could not even tell you, I couldn't tell you a single thing about it because I didn't care. I ignored it. It was like, okay, so I got rocket launcher guy, shotgun guy, assault rifle guy, and that's all I want to know. And I think that's where this game kind of hits that middle ground of the characters aren't well defined enough to really hit that Overwatch level. But that Unreal Tournament Quake gameplay that we love is kind of hampered by the fact that you've like, what is this weird crap that's on top of my Unreal Tournament? And I think that could be, I think this game is a ton of fun, and it's I really enjoyed it. I played a lot of it. I really enjoyed playing it. But I'm just thinking when it comes to this game being a success, that could be, if there's going to be a downfall, to me, that's what it is. It's that we're trying to get the old people, we're trying to get the new people, we're trying to meet in the middle. And I think you're just going to end up kind of alienating a little bit off each side.
The Final Fantasy 15 effect.
Yes.
It's been happening way before that, but I think that's the most recent clear example of that.
Yes. We want our JRPG people. We want our Western audiences who don't like was it a Final Fantasy for fans new and old?
I mean, I still think that was actually a super cool idea for that franchise.
I love that. So
I want to have a discussion about that once I actually get around to playing it. I think that is just kind of, it does feel like this sort of like weird, but again, this also seems like one of those games, like if you spent the time to learn it, there's a lot of nuance that we're just not getting.
Oh, and I don't doubt that at all. Even playing it for a couple hours, I don't think I got any character from personality, but I knew what character to pick when I wanted to do certain things. Like, okay, I need to go assault the other base. I want one of these three guys. Okay, we just need to defend and hold this for a minute. I need these couple, so I think in my mind, the characters didn't become defined in personality, and I didn't care about that, but they definitely were defined in terms of what they could do, which again, I'm not a huge class-based person to begin with, but it's one of the few games where I've played that are class-based where I really feel that like, okay, each character has a purpose. It's not just shotgun guy who just, you run around with a shotgun. It's like, no, shotgun guy who, if you want to play some defense, this is your defenseman. And I guess thinking about it from a sports game perspective, because that's my reference point for a lot of things, like it does definitely feel like there are different positions and each class has a different position. Now, having not played much of Overwatch, I'm sure that same feeling's there and that same thing's there, but I'm just going back to like Call of Duty, Halo, those kind of things when they went class-based. It's just like, no, I'm just picking my starting weapon and I'm doing the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and I think you're right though, because when you're saying like how you pick your characters, like this is the assault, this is the defense, this is this. But I distinctly remember when I was looking at the characters, I wasn't looking at the characters themselves. I was looking at the symbols. when I was picking my character, like once, and like that's what I was like, oh, okay, this is the melee guy. It wasn't, but while Overwatch, I was like flicking through, like that's a cool look. I just like immediately went for the character I thought was kind of neat looking,
Yeah.
as opposed to this one, it's like purely gameplay stuff, and I don't know how to fix that. Like I have no
But
idea. Like
see,
I do need to make your characters likable. If it is so gameplay centric, do you even need to make your characters likable? So
but again,
probably not.
I think that's where that divide comes in, is because like that was,
Yeah.
I think that's part of my like hang up with Overwatch, is like like I don't care about the characters. I just want to play this game. Just make a fun game. I don't need to care about your characters in your multiplayer shooter. Just tell me what they can do. And I think that's where this game I resonate with a little bit more, because it's not like, oh, here, why don't you care about Jimmy, the big shotgun guy, and Jimmy's back? So it's just like, no, he's got a big shotgun. We'll show you the symbols. Pick the guy with the big shotgun if you want a big shotgun. And
It's so funny. Yeah.
and I think that's where, again, that's that different generations, different people looking for different things, of me sitting here going like, just tell me what the guy does. I don't care who he is. Great. He's got long hair. He's got short hair, whatever. Just, does he have a big shotgun or an assault rifle?
That's funny. That's funny because I can see why that would bug me more and bug you a lot less.
Yeah. But
that's kind of cool.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm still excited about this. This is something I'm very interested in picking up. I don't know if I'll be like picking it up day one, but this is definitely something that I'd really, really like to play a lot more of, I think.
And I think it's not $60.
$30.
I don't know. Huh?
$30.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, that makes it a very easy purchase in my book.
Yeah. Shoot, I didn't know that. See, no, but I don't even like the game. No, see, no, I don't like it. Why am I thinking about that? But it's that $30 price tag, man. That's a whole conversation in of itself.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's, again, I think that's what I like about what Boss Key Productions and Cliffy B have done with this, is they've been very upfront. Like, it's a multiplayer only game. It costs $30. We're not gonna charge you $60 for something that's multiplayer only. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they've been very upfront about like what we're doing, what we're trying to do with this, which is always cool. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm curious to see how it does. That's what I'm really curious about, almost more so than anything else, because I know if I bought this, I'd have a great time with it. I'm more just curious to see a year from now, does this have some staying power to it or not?
I mean, do you care? Like, if you feel like you're gonna fall out of it, or the community will fall out?
I just feel like Overwatch is what, like 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old at this point. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
You know, that game is as strong now as it was day one. I'm more just curious. In a year from now, are people still going to be playing this, active, talking about it? I know myself well enough to know that like these kind of games are games I'll sit down and I'll put 30 hours into over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, and then maybe come back to 6 months down the line, maybe not. So I know me.
Yeah. So do you care if it has long?
I don't. It's more just a curiosity.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah.
It's more just the fact that I like that it has so much of that old school mentality to it that I want it to be there, almost like I did with Doom, where it's like this like it feels like such a cool old school style game. Like this feels like late 90s, early 2000s, like fast paced arena shooter. I want this to come back and be a thing again.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
But anyway, Lawbreakers comes out soon, so we'll maybe not have a review of it if we end up buying it, but
I don't know. That's a good question.
50-50 shot on that, but we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us or follow us on whatever it is you're listening to us or watching on, and we will see you later.
Bye.